things that I talked about and give you some examples of what it was that I was talking about and how I see the form, and then I'm going to get you back to drawing. I won't take long on this. But Twee is leaning on the wall. The head is up here someplace. And the feet, I'm not going to get down to the feet. I'm only going to stop somewhere about mid-thigh or something like that. So plan, I think the feet would end up down here someplace. But the head is back here, okay? And the neck and the spine, once again, something to keep in mind is I was given the information, line of the form, line of the body. That line is so important, and that's the angle of trajectory, the angle of the form, something like that. Is basic phrases that you've heard over and over again. And so right now the body is in a very relaxed pose, leaning on a wall. And so the back of the, her spine is doing a shape, something kind of like this. It's coming straight at me, so there isn't as much curve to it. If it was a side view, the back or our spine actually is going to do this, and then the sacrum would be down here, and then the head would be up here. So what's going on from this viewpoint? The back. Okay, the back. Head is down. The back. Actually, the back is going to be further down about here. I'm going to draw a little larger so I can hopefully see it better. In this case here, the arms are up. Okay, elbow is up here. So in essence, the scapula is actually in a shape and an angle like this. And the back end of it, which is going to wrap around the rib cage. I should get the big shapes in, Kevin. Okay, you're actually going to see the scapula is going to do something kind of like that. This is something I just know the position and aspect of it. The other one is, you can actually see the other one, the spine of the other one, you can see that bit of her shoulder blade sticking through this way. Okay, the other side is open up. So thus the rhomboid muscle in here is being pulled out, it's being stretched out at that point. Okay, so the neck, head is down, arms are back here. Okay, and I'm going to go a little rough on those areas at the moment, but okay, and actually the head might even be further down. Hair is disguising some of this information, so the back of the neck is shaped kind of like this, and the spine is coming my way. Okay, you actually sort of see back here is where the sacrum actually begins, and at the base of the sacrum here is the gluteus. You're seeing that shape. I find myself going all the way down to these points, to specific points, and in the front, the pubic bone, once again, because all lines have to go to those points. Okay, so the latissimus muscle is wrapped around here. The oblique muscle is in the front. And it's actually, that's the muscle group that's doing this kind of thing. And gluteus minor is in here. Okay. And so we'll see obliques, gluteus, that muscle that fills in that void between the rib cage and the pelvis. And then we actually sort of see that diamond shape. I'm going to force the issue a little bit right here. You'll actually see this diamond shape in the middle of her back. All right, and then the muscles wrap over this big form, which is our rib cage. This shoulder deltoid muscle is going to come up, and it's going to come from the scapula here. Latissimus is this secondary bulge right there that you can just barely see. And elbow is up here, the arm. So all of a sudden this line, and this line start to make a little more sense. That arm is on an angle upward, and you just barely see the slight bump for the elbow in that position. And doesn't that make sense right there? With the arm the way it's going. The other hand, remember, is just think about things as big shapes. The other hand is up here. The hair covers some of the arm. Here's the other deltoid muscle. And you can see how, virtually I'm drawing it, if this is where the scapula is, you can see how it's inserting back here. is actually going to insert along this line this way. Deltoid muscle, and you can see the other edge of it. All right, from where I'm at right now, I've got a highlight through here, so I'm not seeing a hard line, but I'm just using the hard line so you can understand what I'm talking about. Trapezius in the back, and then latissimus is going to come down, and then the form for the middle of the back is going to do this. You get that armpit that I can't really see much of because the body is wrapping around that way. I'm probably making Twee a little more muscular than she actually is, but this way you kind of understand what I'm talking about. Okay, and so there's that, the oblique muscles, and then how the hips have been falling in line from there. Now, I haven't really got much information right, at this point, but that's my 90% of the back right there. And this diamond shape is a little more this way than this, because it's rotated a little bit away from me. And I think I've elongated that area right there, this distance from here to here. And that's back to me drawing and talking at the same time and drawing what I know. I know anatomy, but I've got to spend a little more time looking. And when I make mistakes in terms of the form, it's often there. I often add a couple extra vertebrae in the middle of the back out of just being stupid. And we end up with fashioned models, 7'9" kind of thing. Yao Ming has the same amount of vertebrae, but just that he's just plain bigger. But that's one of those things that I find myself doing. This makes a lot of sense to me. All of this here works, I think, very well in terms of what I've drawn. This in here is illustrating the tail. It's just that the whole thing needs to come up some in terms of proportion. And as I said, that's my problem with talking and drawing at the same time. It doesn't work it quite as well. But those are the main muscle groups that I discussed up there, and once again, this is how I'm using them there. So these are things to kind of keep in the back of your mind, and the more of it you retain, and the more of it you start thinking about as you draw, the easier the forms will be to make them intertwine. Because one shape always leads you to another, and you don't know they exist until someone tells you about them, or you spend more time, at the beach observing people.